Yes, we're back. We took a month off here on YouTube, so we're back now. And we are joined by my guest today here on the Eric Fowler Show. It's July the 6th here, 2020. And my next guest today is joining me from good old, I think, Los Angeles, California, and good old Hollywood. So it's a very lovely place again. We had on Myra Diaz-Gomez from Los Angeles a few weeks ago. So you're our second Hollyish is to come from that lovely state. She is a host / interviewer on Afterbuzz TV. You may know her from as well from some shows such as Making Their Way to the Ring with Lillian Garcia, which was on Afterbuzz TV back in the day, back in 2017, I believe it was, to NXT, and then as well to hosting After 83 Weeks with Eric Bisshof. It's quite crazy. I know. I've watched a few of them, and they are very entertaining, at least to say, with your info and with what his reaction is going to be, because you don't know what he's going to say, do you? Really? So it's a fantastic show. And you also do other shows as well on Afterbuzz TV, and you have your own YouTube channel, which I think is called Christy's Reports, I believe. Could be wrong about that. Here she is, Christy Olson. Welcome to my show. No. Yeah, you're welcome. And I'm just trying to find you on my software. But yeah, you're very welcome. I do hope you like my introduction style there, because you know it's something new and different. Because you've got you've done a lot of things in the world of Afterbuzz TV, so it's great.
Yes, I have been a very busy gal. You know, this whole coronavirus thing has put us off a little bit as far as live broadcasting goes. But man, thank goodness for Zoom and Skype and being able to still get online and connect with wrestling fans and reality fans. And, you know, we're all at home alone. We don't have to be alone.
No, we don't. And one of my viewers, regular here on the Eric Fowler Show, he says, "I made it," says Mike Fully Love. He wanted to check this out. He's working as well, so it's nice to see him able to join us here live this afternoon or this morning in some places. But I mean, so what have you been up to then? Because usually, what is your normal schedule? Because usually you would go into a studio, in Afterbuzz TV studio, but since you can't do that at the moment because of what's going on in the world, so means how has it been able to adapt to using Zoom for like broadcasting with after 83 weeks and any other show you may do? So has it been a bit challenging for you, or has it been quite easy to adapt?
It's been a bit of a challenge, but I have to give a lot of credit to the crew over at Afterbuzz TV and Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro, and they run a very tight ship over there. They have pivoted very well and actually have helped us kind of get onto doing it on our own. So it's once you get all the tech figured out, and I want to say this to encourage anybody who's sitting around right now and wants to start a YouTube channel or a podcast. I know there's a lot of people out there who have something that they want to say right now. And once you get the tech stuff figured out, you're golden, you know? It's been okay. The whole not being sitting right next to someone when you're talking, you know, there's a lot of everybody stepping on each other's toes, but you just have to kind of laugh about that. And the people at home who are watching understand as well, and they like that they kind of get in a little bit more on the conversation this way. So, you know, I think this is going to change kind of how we all do our thing.
I hope so.
And I'm okay with that.
I hope so. But I do hope, as you say, go back to maybe doing a mixture, maybe doing Zoom and Skype, as well, doing some like face-to-face talks as well, because they're enjoyable. But I mean, you've done these things before, because on your After 83 Weeks podcast, because of Eric Bisshof can't come to Hollywood, because I don't know why. He might be scared. He might not like Hollywood. I don't know. But he decides to join you on video chat from his home, I believe, in Colorado or somewhere near there.
Yes, so we've always been able to connect with him via Skype, which has been really, really fun. And which was cool for when a lot of shows had to kind of go off the air or pivot to Zoom. Their audiences, I think, were a little shocked. You get jarred a little bit. But our people were used to seeing Eric pop up on the Skype and be able to ask him questions via, the live chat and stuff on YouTube. So we've pivoted pretty well in that regard.
Yeah.
And just the fact that Eric is willing to get on live on the air with us every week, especially because we're not easy on him. We take him to task about a lot of stuff. We ask a lot of very nosy questions. So, I mean, every week when we wrap up with him, I kind of say at the end, like, well, Eric, I hope we'll see you again next week. But he's a good sport.
He is. And you guys are as well, because you guys make the show, basically. We're without you guys, it's not as hilarious and entertaining and nosy, as you say, because, who else wants to know about the insides of what happened back in WCW? So you're letting the fans in on some of the things that went down behind the scenes. So we enjoy that. And not only does that, you also cover today news as well. And like, what would Eric Bisshof do if he was in charge of things as well? Which is very interesting. And I have an idea. I have a suggestion for you guys, because there is a simulator out there, okay, and it lets fans to do what you guys are asking Eric Bisshof to do. It's called TEW. You may have heard of it. It's a simulating game made by Adam Wayland, an English guy, and he's put together a simulation, and people have made mods where it's like you can take over WCW or WWE or ECW, whatever it may be. So maybe you should get this game, or let me come on your show and simulate with Eric Bisshof and let him see what he would do if he was allowed back into control of WCW back in the late 90s, or even if WCW never died, or even maybe let him take over a future company, for example. That's just an idea. That's not the reason I got you on here, by the way. It doesn't pitch that, but why not just say it to you since you're the host?
I think he would love that because, he's not big on hypotheticals. When people ask a lot of questions about, what would you do if or in this scenario, but that kind of really puts you there, so we could get rid of that hypotheticals thing a little bit and really get in his head. Yeah.
I think it'd be a cool concept. I think people will enjoy to see what would Eric Bisshof do. Like, would he get rid of anybody or hire anybody? So there's an idea. I don't know what you think about that, but I think if it happened, I think you should host it, of course. I think you should do that because you're a great host and a great interview. So really, what got you into doing interviewing and being a host of things? Did that come from like a childhood, or did it come out through college or school or anything like that?
Well, growing up, I watched MTV. That was the big cool thing. I'm not going to age myself here, but, like I want to be a VJ was a big thing. And I loved throwback shows on Nick at Night. Mary Tyler Moore worked in the newsroom. And I think just kind of organically with my skill set and being so interested growing up watching like Juliana Rancic on E! News and all of that, it was just sort of a natural progression for me to want to study broadcast journalism. And what I found very quickly when I started doing that was that like hard news is not that much fun, interviewing politicians and police officers about a crime or, having to stick a microphone in someone's face when their house is burning down. That's just not my vibe. Yeah. So I kind of quickly pivoted to covering entertainment news and getting really into reality TV and celebrities, which is so much more fun. And set my sights during college on coming out here to Los Angeles. And I got an internship with E! True Hollywood Story, if anybody remembers that show. So then ended up working at E! for a few years and was shocked when that did not lead to an on-camera opportunity. When you're just the administrative assistant sitting up on the fourth floor, it's a stretch. So I started waiting tables and started my own YouTube channel. And once I had my own platform, realized that I could get out there with a camera and a microphone and talk to celebrities on the red carpet. Interviewing, I do love to do. It's one of my favorite things because you can make news with interviews, right? Like you can get the breaking news, you can get the story, you can get someone to reveal something they hadn't before. So that's what kind of thrills me about it.
Yeah, most definitely, and I think you're a natural at it as well. So I'm very shocked as well that he didn't make you a host on their network, because I bet you, as we speak right now, that they are kicking themselves in the butt that they didn't get you on their network, because not only do E broadcast in America, but they've also got a E-UK. So, I mean, you never know. You could end up on E-UK as well, not just on the E network in the America. So, what a shame that didn't happen. But you did kind of get on TV over here in the UK through the NXT brand, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But I want to know who has been some of your favourite celebrities you've interviewed so far, and any goofy or juicy moments you enjoy so far in your career.
Oh, yes, there are several of them. I think my favorite people to interview are other entertainment reporters, wow. Because they're the ones that I looked up to. So, for instance, early on in my red carpet career, I had a really cool moment with Juliana Rancic, wow. who I happened to be wearing a pair of shoes that I had bought that had been hers at an e-wardrobe sale. That used to be a thing back when we worked there. They would sell off stuff that the reporters had worn on air for the wardrobe department to try to make some of that money back. So I had this pair of shoes that I still have in my closet that had belonged to her. And I said, Juliana, do you recognize these shoes? And she did. And she thought it was great. We had this really cool moment right there on the red carpet. So that was probably my favorite ever. That was early on. Some of my other favorite moments have definitely come from interviewing WWE superstars. Excuse me, and other wrestlers. And that's really how I got back into pro wrestling after watching as a kid and really being into it, watching with my dad growing up. Yeah. I hadn't paid attention to it for a long time. And then in 2012 or so, Total Divas started, and I was just getting out here in Hollywood on the carpet, and The Miz and Maurice were all over every event that I was at. So really kind of connecting with them. I've had some really fun interviews with Miz and Maurice. and CM Punk, I had kind of a cool moment with him at the SummerSlam party many years ago. So those have been the ones that really stand out to me as I look back. And that's what kind of really pulled me over back to the pro wrestling world and kind of got me, working in that realm as well.
Nice. That is pretty cool. You've had some amazing moments. But I got to say, though, The Miz, you have to say, it can get quite annoying after you see him loads of times over and over again. He more just saw your schedule and thought, I'm going to go to every event Christy's at just to annoy her at every event. He's got so many TV shows. He's like the face of NBC right now, isn't he? With Cannibal, with Mrs. or whatever it's called on the USA Network. So yeah, he's a very busy guy. And we do have a question as well from Mike. He says, was there anyone that you interviewed who was very different from what you expected? Good question.
Yes, that happens a lot. And I think, again, I kind of have to go back to wrestlers with that, because celebrities and reality stars especially, we know them pretty who they are. And when they're out giving an interview, they are, giving us what we expect. Whereas a wrestler, if you get them in a shoot interview situation, or, you get them in a moment where they're able to be themselves and they don't have to necessarily go along with a storyline, I found that, a lot of them are much more introspective, very intelligent. Some are a lot more soft-spoken than what you see on TV. You see these big, huge personalities, and then you get someone in real life and they're just a normal guy. So I'm trying to think who would be someone who got canceled recently would have been the example I would have used for that. I don't know who would be a perfect example of that, but I would say definitely the wrestlers have surprised me the most in those moments where they get really candid.
Gotcha. Interesting answer. There you go, Mike. Hope that answers that question. Because I think it might be more celebrities. I think it might be more celebrities who might be like that, but I'm quite surprised, but there you go. But I'm not also surprised as well, because I can understand that most wrestlers are different off camera than they are on camera. Kind of thing. So it's quite good. It's quite interesting. But we have been, we've interviewed some very different people on the show. So you're one of the better guests. I have to say, we've not had any worse guests yet. Anyways, there you go.
Well, it's sometimes you get surprised, right? You maybe
You
don't
do.
expect a lot from an interview, and someone really is honest or really shows you a part of themselves that was surprising to you. And maybe sometimes you go down a rabbit hole you didn't expect, or there can be some surprises sometimes.
It is. It is. It is very surprising because you don't know what they might say next, or how their personality or their face might change with their facial expressions and things like that. So it is very surprising, I have to say. Because
If they start going in on someone else,
Yeah.
and then how do you react to that, or how do you handle that?
Yes.
There can be some interesting things, on the red carpet. There's a lot of guys. Sometimes they try to shoot their shot. That was kind of more back in the day before there was awearness about that kind of a thing. And my husband is my cameraman, so that
cool.
made
That's
for
pretty
some
cool.
sort of fun and interesting things, red carpet parties, and but the unexpected kind of nature of all this is what I love. And when I've been in situations where the questions are scripted, and at NXT, you're playing a reporter, you're not being a reporter.
Yeah.
And that was really fun in a different way. And that was being involved in a really different way that was also valuable and felt important. But I really like to just get out there and ask my own questions and just really kind of try to make some news.
Get the inside scoop and become the headline of the story. I get you, and it's great that I say it all the time when I see the dirt sheets nowadays, reading because they were pinched certain lines from a guest who had on the show last year, back last year in June, Chris Van Vliet. I'm sure you know who he is. You might even interviewed him, or he might have interviewed you, maybe, I don't know, but they were pinched stuff from his interviews with certain guests he's had on the show as well. So it is kind of a scoop, and so let me know then. So you means you left E, you started your own YouTube channel. So then, how did Afterbuzz TV get in contact with you? Because again, great catch name, by the way, Afterbuzz. The buzz of your favorite TV shows, your celeb news, all that kind of stuff. So how did that all happen? Did they contact you, or did you reach out to them?
I reached out to them. This was many years ago now. I often think I should really go back and check the timing on all this because I don't know. I know I've done it was years ago already. I had done 500 live shows with them. So
Wow.
been with them for a very long time. And back in the day, it was, if you wanted to be on the network, you could reach out to them. You could audition, let them know what kind of shows you were passionate about. The brunt of what they did back then was after shows. So you sit and watch a TV show, get on with a panel of fans on YouTube and have the live chat and kind of talk about the show. Sometimes we have guests from the show on. So that was really appealing to me because it was kind of what I was doing, but with my YouTube channel, I was doing everything myself, talking about figuring out the technology and all that. It's all on you to book the interviews and to get the press afterward. And I kind of love that because I'm a bit of a control freak, admittedly, but it's also nice to be able to walk into a studio and have an engineer and be under the guidance of the Maria Menounos, and her husband, Kevin Undergaro, who helped make her career. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me. I reached out to them, and the way it was back then, a lot of the big shows that people wanted to cover were already full with hosts.
Gotcha.
So my first show ever that I covered there was South Park, if you can imagine, which was a lot of fun, but something very different, And then once the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills opened up, and then I finally got a spot on the Total Divas after show. That was a big deal for me. And then it all just kind of took off from there. But I saw what they were doing there and knew that I had to get in on it, and I'm so glad that I did.
You did, and I agree with you. I think you did as well because I don't think it would be as good without your expertise, without your experience on those on all those networks and all those shows you've done over the years. You've been a part of AfterBuzz TV because again, it's giving you more exposure to different fan bases. You went from doing a animation show about South Park. Then doing some reality TV about that as well with the Housewives of Beverly Hills, and then doing some of your favorite stuff as well with wrestling and other things as well. And which category do you love to cover then on AfterBuzz TV?
Well, I did a lot of reality TV there for a long time, and now it's actually been a few years since I've done an after show there. They helped me. My work with the after shows of being a panelist led to me being a producer there. And then when Sean X-Pac Waltman came in, I was able to link up with him and help co-host and make his show happen, learning a lot in the process from him and from, our EP Kevin. And then Lillian came and we sort of did the same thing. And again, I was putting a lot of work in behind the scenes and I was able to learn so much from them at that time. So my being an after show host really forayed into being a producer, which, eventually I was able to catch the attention of WWE and was there for a while. And actually when I left WWE, I took a very high profile producing job behind the scenes at Sirius XM Radio, producing Maria Menounos' daily radio show.
Nice.
So it kind of went from being, this 1 hour a week after show host to really kind of becoming a power producer. Working 14-hour days, putting a live show out. And I've learned a lot there. I forgot what your original question even was because I'm like looking back on all this going, wow, oh my God.
You don't really mind. You answered the question as fully and as variety as you could. So we're learning more about you today, which is great. This is all about you. So, you're a producer as well. You've done some stuff behind the scenes as well. So, she does everything, and I like how you went full circle as well, because you went from Afterbuzz TV to I'm hoping I'm still on the air. I am. Here we go. I'm back. If I did freeze, so you gone from Afterbuzz TV to WWE to going to Sirius XM to doing a show with Maria Menounos, the same person you were with at Afterbuzz TV. So that was a very full circle what's happened there. So that is very cool, because most people don't end up like that most times. You might see him again on another show, but might be years down the line, kind of thing. So it's quite nice how you did that a full circle there. But because who was idea to get you involved with the making their way to the ring with Lillian Garcia? Was it yourself or was it Lillian or somebody else at the Buzz TV to say, hey, I want to have Christy Olson a part of this show?
That was not going to not happen. Maria and Kevin knew Lillian, because they're involved in WWE as well. Maria hosts the red carpet for their Hall of Fame every year, and she has gotten in the ring at Mania and been a great friend to WWE. So Lillian and Kevin and Maria were very close. And when Lillian, I think, had her idea for her show and worked with Kevin in making it happen, I was the one really producing a lot of the pro wrestling content there and, really kind of developing sort of a news division in pro wrestling at the network. So it just made a lot of sense to have me kind of link up with Lillian and be the person who could report the news so that she could comment on it and kind of, be the expert who'd been in the industry for years. So it happened kind of organically, but it was really a perfect fit. And I really cherished that time that I got to work with her again, learned a lot from her, not even so much about working in a lot about working in the pro wrestling world, but also just about life. Yeah. And, I'm really grateful for having that opportunity.
And I did watch the shows and I enjoyed the format. So I was quite sad when the show ended on AfterBuzz TV because I'm thinking, no, because we don't see yourself and Wayne Satan on that show anymore, so it's quite sad after it ended. After a great run on there, I always tuned in to see what Christy has got in store for Lillian Garcia. That was my favorite part of the show, apart from what the guest might have been. But I enjoyed that bit of the show as well. So I was quite sad about that. But again, you moved on to other things as well, because of course you gone on to After 83 Weeks, and was that your idea to begin that show as well, or was it a joint between you and Kevin and Maria?
Yes, that was another Kevin Undergaro genius idea. So when I was, producing for Maria at Sirius XM, and when she decided to leave the network, I, essentially the show was over and Christy needed to figure out the next thing to do. And of course, the next thing to do was to get back on camera. Yeah. And Kevin said, everybody wants to make the show that's like Sports Center. Why don't we do the show that's like the after show for Sports Center? So essentially it became the first ever podcast about a podcast. He said, why don't you do an after show for one of these huge wrestling podcasts? And we actually started with Bruce Pritchard's show, and that was a lot of fun. We did it for a few weeks and then realized that 83 Weeks was really juicy and had a lot that we could chat about. So we started doing just a generic kind of after show for it. And my dear friend and co-host Steve Kaufman works with Eric and a lot of other pro wrestlers in producing their YouTube channels. So he was able to kind of show Eric what we were doing and, got Eric's attention. We got him on once or twice, and then he kind of was into it and agreed to hook up with us every week.
Yeah.
And then he agreed to have us air on his 83 Weeks channel, still partnering with Afterbuzz TV, but instead of airing on Afterbuzz's wrestling and sports channel, then we started airing on the 83 Weeks channel, which helped increase our viewership and really helped get us out to the other 83 Weeks fans. So, that all happened too, just very, I don't want to say easily, but especially now in my career, I can look back and see how things were meant to happen.
Yeah.
And it just seems like everything sort of fell in place for it.
Yeah, most definitely. I enjoy them after 83 weeks as well because they're just fun, a lot of fun. And you learn new things every week on that show, and also on the 83 weeks audio with him and Conrad. Whoever Conrad is, by the way, because again, he's not very famous over here. We don't really know about him. Like with Maria, no offense to her, I'm sure she's done a wonderful job, but she's not very famous over here, really, until she got onto WWE. That's when I knew her. Was on WWE. I didn't know her beforehand. I didn't have a clue who she is. Still don't really. Also know is that she co-founded Afterbuzz TV, and she does a lot of camera work on that show, and obviously producing and other things behind the camera as well, I'm guessing. So.
Yeah, well, and she's kind of pivoted to trying to help other hosts. That was her thing with creating Afterbuzz, and really what Kevin and Maria have done to help me, they've done for thousands of people. Not even an exaggeration. No, so she's kind of taken the success that she had in entertainment news back in the day here and helped a million people kind of launch off in the same way.
Yeah, that's great. A great woman. She's a great woman, and I've seen a lot of interviews with her. And she's very genuine and very friendly. As you just say as well, very kind. Just because she didn't have to do that, to anybody. And she want to spend the time doing that. It's a great woman. And I wish her all the best with her Afterbuzz TV and for the future of the host as well. Because it's a tough job to train and to have patience with new hosts and get them into how they want them to be. Submitting the show out kind of thing, under what they're after, if that makes sense with you. But I mean, so you went from Afterbuzz TV, you then signed with WWE, and I think the first time we saw you on the air, I could be wrong, but I'm going to go back a bit earlier. I've seen some pictures. You were interviewed by Kayla Braxton. Was this after the first show you attended as a ring announcer or reporter? It may have been, or was this before the first show you went to? Because I know you were interviewed by Kayla Braxton on like a WWE.com or YouTube channel or something like that. Tell us more about that, and was that your first interaction with Kayla Braxton?
So that was the first taping that I was at after I had signed.
Gotcha.
So I went to one taping the month before to visit and had my audition the next day, and then flew back out. In that month's time, signed, got moved, and then it was only a couple weeks into when I had been there that we had the first day. They tape, NXT used to tape back in the day once a month, 4 episodes.
Gotcha.
So that was the first day, and I kind of thought I wasn't going to be allowed to do anything. Mm-hmm. You're there, you're watching how things go. It's the first time around. Kayla, who I cannot say enough good about. She is one of the most amazing people I've ever had the pleasure of working with in my entire life. And she was showing me the ropes very selflessly, kind of helping me get acclimated. And part of what they wanted to do to introduce me to the audience was have this interview with Kayla where I talked about Afterbuzz, and I think, to the audience, WWE knew making that connection between me and my previous work with Sean and Lillian and with Maria would be a good way to introduce me to the audience. So I was so excited to do that because I, again, didn't think I would be able to do anything. And I thought if I was doing anything, it would be, just a one question of me interviewing a wrestler, on the NXT show. So that was a really cool thing. It was something I was really grateful, that Kayla was gung ho and to do that. And I was kind of surprised they did that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that interview. I never watched it back when you joined me because I watched you on Lillian Garcia's show. So I was very familiar with you. So I was quite happy to see you sign with NXT. I thought, yes, now hopefully more people from the UK will we'll now get to see you and know more about you over here. And so of course, Kayla Braxton as well. She worked in the news business as well. I think she was part of NBC back in the day, like a local NBC station. But you had some great interviewers. You had some great interviews in NXT. Who were some of your favorite interviews? And did you do any behind the scenes stuff when you weren't out there interviewing anybody? Were you able to do other things, or did you just get to watch the rest of the show kind of thing?
Well, to answer your first question first, which was, the great interviews there. Like I described before, a lot of the interviews are for storyline. So it's a script you get handed, and it's one line that you memorize, which was very different for me, Yes. A couple of the cool things I did get to do, though, there was one instance where I've been there for quite a while where I got to do a sit-down interview with Drew McIntyre.
Oh, nice.
And it was shortly after he had scored the NXT championship. And, he has such a great story to tell. And I was given a little bit more freedom in that interview to kind of be conversational and interject with some of my own questions.
Well,
so that's one that really stands out to me. What else? I think that would be the big one. And again, my role there was very, very well defined, and I didn't get to do anything behind the scenes that I was used to doing as far as producing.
Gotcha.
Or writing my own questions, or guiding the storyline in any way. WWE is a big machine.
Yes.
I was a little cog in it, and I wasn't hired there as a content producer. So,
Gotcha.
Maybe if I had stuck around for a while, I would have gotten to the point where I could have maybe pitched some things, but we've seen that not work out incredibly well for other hosts in the past. So no, I didn't get to write or produce or, kind of create content. And that's what I really missed, to be honest with you. I was so happy to be there. It was my dream job. I would have done anything to get it and to be there. And I was so grateful to be able to do it. I had so much fun. And when it was over, I was really excited to go back to being the creator as well as the host.
Yeah, because you get more freedom. You get to be off script as well. Because on my show, now usually what I do is I would send you some questions I wanted to ask you, but I thought I would just try something different because I'd learned from other people, and it worked because I got a response from you, and here we are today. So I did not send you any questions, but I did put some in the description below, which I'm sure you saw when you shared the link onto your Instagram. So maybe Kayla Braxton might see this video. So if she does, hello. Or to anybody else from WWE who you keep in contact with, because there's some people who keep in contact with you from WWE and from other companies like AEW as well, or Elite Wrestling on TNT, on ITV.
Yes, I also worked the Indies for about a year before I was signed to WWE.
Yes,
so
that
was
Coast
incredible.
Wrestling
That's
Connection.
right. Actually, yes, you are good, Edward.
And the one in Las Vegas.
I really know a lot of the people in the business. Yes, PPW. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. That's where I really know a lot of the people that I know is really from being on the road and working real indie wrestling shows back in the day. That was the most fun I've ever had working ever, hands down.
Because I watched West Coast Wrestling Connection from 2014, and then I went off it. Took a break from it, and then after watching your show I started watching it again, and then all of a sudden I was seeing you appear on it. I'm thinking, well, okay, this is pretty neat. So you got Christy Olson now part of West Coast Wrestling Connection, and that's how I know Hammerstone and Graham Grow. Of course, you know Graham Grow from WWE, but I mean I know him more now because of WCWC, what he did in that company as well, and other great talent. I think some other good names came from there as well. Mask Guy 1, I think his name was, and Mask Guy 2, something. It was Mask, and then they had a number or something afterwards to tell you which one was which, because there were about 3 of them who were related, I think, in that wrestling company, if you remember them.
Yes,
that's good. That's good. So yeah, I made sure I did some research before I just came and got you on there. This is the best kept secret on YouTube. This is the best show where you get unscripted questions, which are coming from my head, not written down at all. We don't do any written down questions here ever. Not even
what?
Bullet points.
Edward, I like that, and I think it's a good way to go, because that way when you're trying to score interviews and people are like, well, can you send us the questions? Then you just tell them, oh no, I don't do that. I'm a little more off the cuff. I'm a little more conversational, and it kind of gets you out of it. So that's good.
Thank you for the tip. I'll use that. I'm going to use that now because I've had that before. I've had that before. So I had to sit down and actually write some questions. I don't really know because I think of them on the first answer of my guest. So whatever it may be, my next question pops into my head straight after the first answer. So that's how it goes. Yeah. But I'm going to use it now. Thank you so much for the tip.
That's from Maria Menounos herself. So
wow. Well, tell Maria, thank you very much for that great tip which is given to you and a lot of other people because it's very, very good. And you hit it here first on the Eric Fowler show. There you go. That's a good tip. You want to start your YouTube channel on YouTube, people? Good tip there from Christy Olson / Maria Menounos as well. But I mean, so you do 83 weeks on the Eric Bisshof channel, which is very cool. 83 weeks on YouTube. Is it a weekly show you still do? I know you had a bit of an off season, didn't you? You like ended in just before the lockdown over there, and it came back in May. So is it going to carry on into the future, or is this going to be the last season, maybe?
No, we are here for you every week on Thursdays. We moved from Wednesdays to Thursdays a few months ago. Yeah. So you can always come and join us. It's at 5 p.m. Pacific on the 83 Weeks channel. And we do have Eric almost every week. We didn't have him this last week because he loves the 4th of July. He throws a big shindig. So we had a lot of company over, but we will be back on the air with him this coming Thursday. And we are going to keep doing it as long as he will keep appearing and as long as he keeps doing 83 weeks. Yes. We're going to be on top of it every week.
Fingers crossed it will, and that will be at 1 a.m. UK time on youtube.com. Very late. Yeah. So yeah.
We have a lot of international fans that join us, and they'll tell us that. They'll be like, oh, or it's time, it's 5 o'clock here. I'm having a beer, or I'm about to get ready to go to bed. Or sometimes people are at work, and it's cool to think we're entertaining them through their work day. So that's part of the fun of it. Is that international audience.
And most YouTubers who go live on YouTube don't really check the live chat to see who's there or anything like that, but you guys do. And then Eric Bisshof will say as well sometimes, oh, I know that guy, he sent me a gift, and he knows people's names. Not a lot of YouTubers do that. So it's great that your show after 83 weeks does then actually interact with the fan base, which is very cool, because if you don't do that sometimes, they will not tune in anymore. You're not going to notice my comment, goodbye from me kind of thing. I'll find another YouTuber who will. So it's great that you guys actually do that on a weekly basis with actually interacting with the fan base who love Eric Bisshof and who love the podcast and the After 83 Weeks podcast as well.
Yeah, because it's not easy to juggle. Like, I'm looking at Eric, I got my computer screen, I'm looking at Eric on the Zoom, and one thing, I have my notes over here on the iPad, and then I have the live chat rolling, and my co-hosts help Steve and George help keep an eye on the live chat as well. But it's not easy, but it's part of the fun because we're all fans of the show, and we get to connect with other fans of 83 Weeks who sometimes have, even better questions that we didn't think of ourselves. So thank goodness for that. Such a cool feature.
And it's great technology we've got nowadays. We thought maybe about just over 15 years ago, maybe not, but now we can do it now, and it's great. And good old Eric Bisshof, he's back and he's better than ever. He truly is, isn't he? He is better than ever in his life. I have to say. So before we came on the air, we were talking about drinks because it was Independence Day over in the US this past weekend, July the 4th. We, of course, had to have our own July the 4th, didn't we, over here, thanks to Boris Johnson, because he decided to reopen the pubs and restaurants and hairdressers here in the UK. So we called it Independence Day for the UK, Super Saturday. And a lot of people went out to get to the barbers for the first time since March the 23rd, 2020. So it's very eventful. But I mean, what is your go-to alcoholic drink then? If you when you go out, for a restaurant or for a pub or whatever you may go to, what's your favorite drink to take? Because mine is fruit cider or dark fruit. I like to have a taste. I'm not really like a beer guy who can drink beer. It just tastes disgusting without a taste.
I am so that not a beer drinker. I love tequila. I worked at a lot of tequila bars when I was, first starting my channel after I left had to pay the bills somehow.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot about high-end tequila. So I'm a bit of a tequila snob and can definitely enjoy it, sipping it straight. But I'm a wine girl too. I'm a little basic with my rosé. On Saturday, I may have polished off 3 bottles of Pinot Grigio. So the wine is always there, but if it's time to take a shot or sip on some hard liquor, we're doing tequila, 1942 specifically. And also, I had to wash down my Beyond brats with something,
Yes, because I've had the shots of tequila before. I'm not really a big fan on the aftertaste of it, kind of thing. So I can understand why you need to have something else to get rid of that disgusting aftertaste. So a good call there.
That's part of the fun of it, like when you bring out a round of tequila shots, maybe at a bar, or I love to have people over at my house as well. There's always someone who's never done a tequila shot before. They're gonna make a face. It's gonna be fun. They're gonna love it. They're always gonna tell me, "Oh my gosh, I had my first tequila shot ever with you." So it's I understand it's not everybody's flavor, but we're going to do it and we're going to enjoy it, and then we're going to have a great time.
Yeah, well, I will tell you one thing. I think you'll enjoy mine, because when I took mine, I was then putting certain things in the wrong places. So, for example, I was putting a pan, instead of putting it, because we put our pans underneath a cupboard, so we were putting them, I was putting a pan on top of my oven. And we got another bit where you put your pans and you can do stuff. But I put it there for some weird reason. So I was doing all things very bizarrely. I don't really do that. I got the tequila shot. And then about maybe after 10 minutes I kicked in. And then I got a bit tipsy. So I was going to fall over a few times as well. So yeah, very eventful evening, I have to say.
See, doesn't that sound like fun?
It does.
All in moderation, right?
Yes.
It's all in good fun.
Yes. Yes. As long as you're enjoying yourself, then do it. Of course, when you don't enjoy yourself, then stop immediately if you can, because if you're not enjoying yourself, then you need to lie down and take a break from it, don't you? Kind of thing. And you might have a bad hangover the next day, and you're like, oh my god, what did I do the night before?
Yeah, we've been there. We've all been there. You'll survive.
Yes. Slowly but surely we will survive. So will we ever see yourself in the UK anytime soon? Once, of course, coronavirus is under control and things do get back to come sound normal in the US as well. I know you've still got a lot of cases in some parts of the US, but once all that hopefully comes down and starts to decrease in cases and deaths, will we ever see yourself here in the UK sometime soon?
I'm dying to travel again. I always wanted to visit the UK. I've never had the opportunity to do so. So I would absolutely love to come and experience some of your local food and drinks there.
Yes.
And to come and see a wrestling show. I hear UK wrestling fans are about the best there is. So I would just love to come and enjoy a show there and meet some of the fans. I would love that. So fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully we can make it happen. Somehow, some way we'll have to make it happen. You come over here to experience our pubs and our food. Of course, our food isn't as big as it is in America. So just thought to warn you about that.
I'm vegan, and I know you guys have like a big vegan population there. I think you guys might even have like more options and fun stuff that we do here in Los Angeles. Because I used to talk to the UK guys at NXT. They were all vegan, and it was me and them. We were the only ones. Like when we were on the road, they would make sure they got special salads for us and all that stuff. So I've talked to them a lot about the vegan fare over there, and I would love to take a little taste.
Yeah. Please do. Because I hope you enjoy our vegan food as much as you've heard about it from the NXT UK guys. We don't want to disappoint your expectations, so hopefully we can accommodate you for that as well. But if you got any certain cities you want to visit over, of course, London probably on your list to go, your A-list to go. But is there any other UK cities you want to visit as well?
Well, I mean, not to be too basic, but London, would be at the top of the list.
Yeah,
I would probably, actually, if I was planning a trip there, I think I'd have to give Edward a call and ask him what he suggests. Where should I go?
Okay. I like it. Yeah, well, you can, and feel free to. But, I mean, if you want to see the best football club in the world, better than Arsenal or West Ham or Chelsea or Tottenham in that surrounding area, then you need to come to Manchester to see the best team in the world, Manchester United. That's where you get most of the passionate wrestling fans there is, because we love to fight as well outside of football grounds with other football fans. That's how it was back in the day. But yeah, you need to come and experience the best club in the world, Manchester United.
That would be fun. I'm not a huge, I call them unscripted sports. I don't pretend to know a lot about them. I'm not super into it, but I love to go to any live show. I don't love the sports, but I like to eat and drink and yell stuff. Yeah. So I would be down for that. Oh yeah, you most definitely will be able to yell many things indeed. And you get to chant as well, so that's why the England fans are the passionate fans in the world, because we've got passion, we love sports, we love to get our chants across. That's why when you watched NXT UK and other UK shows, you see how much energy and pride we put into stuff. Oh my God. That's what I miss about live wrestling shows, is the chanting. And like NXT especially, that was my job at the very beginning of the show, was to get into the ring and count everybody down. 1, 2, 3, we're doing the NXT chant, And man, I mean, it's hard for me not to do that in public. Like, that's why I don't go to church, because I can't be like, 1, 2, 3, God, 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 God. Like,
yeah. You might get kicked out for doing that.
Right?
Fair enough. Is there any other cities or towns you haven't had chance to visit yet but would love to go and visit?
Yes, I'm dying to get to Spain a little bit, Madrid. I cover a lot of 90 Day Fiancé on my channel, and I used to at Afterbuzz TV with 90 Day Fiancé News Daily. So a lot of the places I've seen there, Larissa's one of my favorites. She's from Brazil. I would love to see Brazil and Portugal. I unfortunately haven't had a lot of opportunity to travel the world. I've been to almost everywhere in the country through wrestling. But I got on one Canada loop with WWE. That was it. So I really am dying to get out there. I am, wondering how the price of traveling and airlines and all that is going to be affected by what's going on right now. And so I'm hoping, maybe we can get some cheap flights and lost my ear. And I'm ready to go. I got my mask and I'm ready to go.
Fingers crossed it won't be too expensive for yourself to come over to here and Europe and other places as well, because it'd be cool, and I do hope that you get to document it on your YouTube channel. So now what we're going to do right now, I've not done this yet, and I should have done it a bit earlier, but hey-ho, we do it now. We're going to plug your social media, because it has been on the screen off and on throughout this interview, because I put your name and the logo for Christy Reports on Twitter and on Instagram. You guessed it, Christy Reports as well, keeping it simple and easy for people to find you, unlike me, and I like to change it up a little bit. But yeah, there you go. Nice. I like the modeling there. You must get that from the Price is Right over there. Yeah.
An American favorite.
It is. I love that show. I watch it on YouTube all the time. But I just love it, because the US version is much better than the UK version, I have to say. Because the people who attend that show are all very excited from the moment it begins to the moment it ends. So, I just love the Price is Right over there. It's just an amazing show, I have to say. But yeah, please do as well plug your YouTube channel as well, because give more people insight into what kind of things you do cover on your YouTube channel. You cover a lot of different variety on there, don't you?
Yes, for anyone who loves either pro wrestling or reality TV, I have something there for you. It's a lot of exclusive interviews with reality stars and wrestlers, and then I also do some really fun news stuff on the daily. And then anytime there's a new season of a reality show coming out, if it's one of my favorites, I take a good look at the trailer and break down all the action and let you know what the real story is and what you need to look forward to on the newest season of a show. So a lot of fun stuff there. I would love it if everybody would check it out. It's called Christy Reports. if you would subscribe, I would love that. I actually just kind of started experimenting with a daily wrestling news show. So I did it once. It's all about like making it happen once. Got all the tech and all that stuff figured out, and now I'm kind of ready to launch and get to doing that every day. So please subscribe to Christy Reports, and I'm always open, man. I'm not a I'm a producer, but I'm not a never-ending fountain of creativity. So if people have ideas of stuff they want to see, or I like to think that I do some unique interviews that are different from maybe what something they need to know about reality TV. I would love if people would reach out to me at Christy Reports and let me know what they want to see too. My channel's been around since 2009. On and off. I wasn't allowed to touch it when I was at WWE, and I lost a lot of subscribers at that time. So it really has been about rebuilding since then, and really taking ownership of being able to do it and be my own producer and make my own stuff that's exactly what I want it to be, and that's never lost on me. I love it. So please come and check it out. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears over there, man.
It so is. And again, she currently has 9,000 subscribers, 9,000 odd subscribers, I would say. So hope by subscribing, liking her, and sharing her content, and even leaving a comment, let her know you view your channel from here, Fowler Show. Please do leave a comment, let her know that as well. Make sure you do share on to your wrestling and reality fans as well, to help Christy to grow and get back to the subscribers she did have, and even make it even bigger and better than it was before. 11 years of Christy Olson on YouTube.com. I can't wait, and I wish you another 11 plus years on YouTube as well. I wonder what it'll be like in 2030. What will be like? What would Christy Olson be like in 2030? Will she have 1 million subscribers? Who knows? I hope so. Maybe even more by then. Oh man,
hopefully. I'll be old enough to be one of the Real Housewives by then. I better be.
It would be cool to see on one of them reality shows. It'd be really cool. Maybe even Wife Swap or something. I don't know, something to have you on TV.
I would love it. I never really strive to be the reality star. I like to report on the reality stars. But by the time I'm that age, forget it, man. Let's do it.
But I mean, I've seen where they put some like reporters or hosts onto a reality show. So never say never. Never say never, because it could happen to you. But before we go though, because when I reached out to you, I'm guessing you did some research on me just to make sure I was legit, just thing before you responded back to me. So what did you make of the content? I sent you a link, didn't I, to my YouTube channel in the email I sent to you. So what did you make of the content? Did you enjoy it? Obviously you enjoyed it, because you wouldn't be here today. But did you like what you saw?
I did, and that's why I'm here.
Yes.
As I mentioned at the beginning, I don't do a lot of this. It just isn't super fun for me to be the interviewee. I like to be the interviewer. But because of the way that you reached out, the way you pitched this, and also because I did tune into your channel, and what I saw was a lot of positivity. There's a lot of channels out there that are doing very well that focus on, like drama channels or, that like to focus on the negative stuff. Yeah. And that just isn't my bag. I think it's great for people that are doing it. Some of them are doing a lot better than I am, making a lot more money than I am.
Probably, yeah.
But I just, I like to keep my world online a little more protected, and make sure the people that are getting in are the people who are watching my content are the ones who are doing it, from a positive place, and they have fun with the shows, and they like the people that are on them. It's not a love to hate it kind of a thing. Yeah. So when I watched your channel and just saw how much you love entertainment and the world of sports entertainment and wrestling, I just thought, hey, that's going to be a fun way to start my week. Let's do that on a Monday morning.
Yeah. Well, thank you again. And I do hope it has been positive as well on this show today with my energy. And with your energy, so I think we have good chemistry together. Interviewer, so it's quite nice. We will hopefully have you back on the show again if you will come back on the show again, hopefully soon.
I would love to.
Good to hear. And I do hope you can pitch my idea to your bosses, or whoever your boss may be. Might be yourself. It could be. I might be speaking to the boss over 83 weeks right now, but whoever it may be. Hopefully you can pitch that idea and see what Eric Bisshof thinks about that. I think it'd be very intriguing to see what he would do on that software, I have to say. But one more question before...
I think you would too.
I think it would be amazing, I think, just by having your input and your co-host input, and then maybe having the fans, maybe having the fans say, what do you think Eric Bisshof to do here, kind of thing as well. More interacting with the fans as well, both ways it works. But, I think it'd be a fun hour of a show. But that's just my take on it, kind of thing. I've been mentioned before. But one more question for you is, who would you suggest me to contact next to come on this show?
Oh, that's a great question. There's so much talent out there right now that have a story to tell, especially with what's been going on. I myself have been dying to sit down with a Tainara Conti or Sarah Rowe. Congratulations to her, who just announced her pregnancy this morning. So I think you can aim high, Edward, and I wouldn't be afraid to do that. Who else? There's a lot of indie stars right now that are really trying to tell their own story online. They see what EC3 is doing and are trying to do that for themselves. So I would get in on that. I'm dying to know what Caleb Conley has to say about the revolt and that whole mess. So, and he's a very nice guy. He may be someone who is willing to chat with you for a bit.
Yeah.
Who else? Kimberly, I'm not exactly sure what she's going by right now, but she has landed at Impact. And, she's been through a lot in the last few weeks with the speaking out movement. I think she would be a great person to talk to right now. So, man, the world is your oyster, Edward. You have a great setup here. I love this, how I can sit and watch and see you, and we're live with all the fans. I might be hitting you up later to ask you how you did some of this tech-wise.
Yes, feel free to.
I think whoever you want, you can get them right now, Everybody's just sitting at home doing a whole lot of nothing. Aim high.
Indeed. And again, my show is very different from what you're used to, because when you're doing these shows, and maybe what's other podcasters who do kind of this, but a bit differently, I like to do stuff a bit differently. I thought, why not do something which nobody else is doing really, which is having different graphics popping up and able to go into his and actually have your social media on the screen at all times as well, without maybe at the start of the video where somebody will just put at Christy Reports kind of thing, and that's it. I like to have...
That looks good.
Yeah. I had somebody make that for me in After Effects, that Edward Fowler show, and then the blue bar, but everything else is to do with me. So I've done the Christy Olson, the Twitter, and the Instagram. I pinned that from Google, but I did it all myself, and the slides, I've done that myself, transitions in the software I use for the show. So I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you pointed out it, because nobody else has. So I'm liking the little detail how you've reached out and slurred. So thank you for that, because not many people pick up, because that takes some time to do as well.
I know it's not easy. You're a one-man band. I appreciate it.
Indeed. Well, I do hope you enjoyed this hour of your time, and I do hope you enjoyed yourself, because I know I've enjoyed myself. The people who are watching this either live or on demand will enjoy it, because before we even came live, by the way, somebody actually liked this video way before we were even live today, by the way.
Oh, was
that you?
That might have been me.
That might be you. Okay, fair enough. I was thinking somebody very eager. I'm not done anything yet. I'm only got a like, so I was like, okay, very bizarre, but at least you know now that.
Sorry to burst your bubble.
No, it's fine. I'm glad we got that underway. But yeah, I thank you for liking the video. But yeah, if you haven't liked the video, then please do like it, and give us a like, share the video around to your Wesleyan reality and celeb friends, because Christy Olson gets all the scoop from your favorite celebs and reality stars as well. Make sure you subscribe with the notification bell on. Means you're always notified when a new interview come out. We did take out a month off. I didn't mean to, but I had nothing else to do really. But no, I didn't have a clue who to contact next. So I thought at the end of June, I'll just reach out to a few people and see who responds to me. And luckily enough, here we are today on July the 6th. So there you go. And until next episode drops, enjoy the rest of your Monday night.